Nav Gupta, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Hey, it's a pleasure having you on here as well. And thanks so much for your time. I know you're a very busy man and you are at the forefront of the cutting edge of the progress of humanity at at this digital age. So why don't you tell us who you are and what are you up to right now?
Sure. And this is going to be shown to everybody, correct?
Yes, this is going to be for public display.
Excellent. So is it all right if I share my screen? Because the visuals will also help as well for those who are watching at home.
I think this is going to be good for the ones who are watching it on the video. For the ones who are listening, please follow the link under the description where I will be posting
Perfect.
the link to the YouTube video.
Thank you so much. Excellent. So basically, what you guys are going to see later on is that at Charmy, what we're doing is we're building metaverse technology that's there to disrupt the entire metaverse market. It is a web-based, no-code solution that is easy to use, fast, and cost-effective. Literally, if you see any of the Charmy experiences, and we can build all kinds of different things. If you took a video of our experience and showed it to any developer firm in the world, chances are you're going to get back prices of 5, 6, 7 figures to create these metaverse experiences, which work in browser, by the way, on PC, Mac, and even in Oculus Quest and VR. And you'll get, time frames of weeks, months, in some cases even years. With Charmy, you're able to create these experiences in a matter of hours. Literally, it's just click, drag, save, it's done. And at cost prices starting at just 99 US dollars per month to 149 US a month. It's literally mind blowing what we're here and what we're creating. And my hope is that we create over 1 million of these galaxies powered by Charmy in the next 5 to 7 years. So
So,
that's what we're
Naf, I'm
building.
going to stop you right there just to make sure that, our viewers and our listeners are not lost. Let's start from like step one. First of all, you
Sure.
are a CEO and founder of a metaverse company. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. And not just a specific metaverse. We're building a platform that will allow you to create metaverse experiences that anyone, whatever you can imagine, you could build it, which is beautiful.
Can you? So that's interesting because again, metaverse is something that of a buzzword right now. Ever
Yep.
since Mark Zuckerberg decided to rename his company Meta, and he said the word metaverse, he is not the one who invented it. He's not the one who came up with the word or like with the
Yep.
whole concept. It's just something that he decides to like. He decided to take on, and
Yep.
that's going to be like his flagship project. But
Yep.
metaverse been around for a while. The concept been around for a while. So
Yep.
if you don't mind, please, in a very short kind of manner, I would say, could you please explain to my viewers and to the listeners what is metaverse? Why is it so important, and why is everyone talk about it right now?
The $1 billion, $1 trillion question. There you go. Okay, so the definition is always, it's constantly being updated or created by so many people. I'll give you my definition of what I believe the metaverse is. The metaverse, right now in its current state, in my opinion, is a video game. It is a 3D internet, is what it is. It's rooted in video game culture. It started back in the times of World of Warcraft. You even had something that was even close to what we call the metaverse in Vision, which is Second Life. It's like the closest thing that you could get. And for many years, I've got friends who lived inside of Second Life. I had a wedding planner. They made 40,000
I
US
was
over
about to ask
time.
about that wedding planner. I saw that in the
Yeah,
press.
that's right. That's right. Like we lived inside of this virtual world, and we did all kinds of things. We created friendships, real bonds, and then the next level of these experiences started coming out with Minecraft and Roblox, and even now Fortnite is considered like that as well. And that's when blockchain kind of intersected, and they said, "Hey, you know what? We've got something called NFTs." All right, not obviously it was much more complex than that, but just trying to keep it easy for your
Mm-hmm.
listeners and viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Something called NFTs, non fungible tokens. We can now give ownership of these virtual lands. And that's when you got the new variants of what the metaverse is coming out to be, such as Decentraland and Sandbox and Crypto Voxels, which are now owned pieces of land, virtual land in these virtual worlds and games. And so that's where that is. And then that's when Mark Zuckerberg also came out and he said, we're going to take it up a notch and I'm going to convert the whole company to be called Meta. This is what's coming. And they own something called Oculus Quest, and it is one of the most incredible VR technologies around. So it was a company that Facebook had bought out, and when you experience VR in the Quest, it's unlike anything you've experienced thus far. And that's why it's been one of the most popular devices. I believe over 10 million units have already been sold. And now they're looking at VR coming in and later augmented reality. So these are the steps and the layers that are here and now. And where we started at Charmy was like, well, what do people know? It's a website. And so we actually go above your website and we give you a metaverse subdomain. And so that's what that is, from my opinion. However, where it is going is what you are hearing in the news. People are talking about the metaverse from many years out, from many other angles, and heck, everybody who's been completely outside of the space or even remotely close, all of a sudden is now a metaverse company. It's like, we're a metaverse, we're a metaverse, we're a metaverse, we're a metaverse. It's like, wait, everybody's metaverse, right? So it can get confusing. It's also the merging of several other technologies that are going to be, helpful in this whole entire experience, such as AI, and you've got other things as IoT coming into the metaverse space. And it's going to be interesting to see because those are going to be supplemental sorts of technologies that are going to come in and everything's going to come together. And we're starting to see that with very powerful AI technologies such as Mid Journey and Dale and stuff, where they can actually take just written text and create full artwork that you would never believe that AI has
Yeah, I love
creative
that. It's very
capability like
controversial,
this.
very controversial right now. I know that
Yeah,
Getty
yeah, it
Getty
is.
Images actually prohibited
Yeah.
any AI
So that's my
images right now.
definition, hopefully.
So okay, so let's talk about that. So a friend of mine on LinkedIn, he's also like an engineer and computer scientist, and he's very anti-metaverse, and he's basically saying, "Hey guys, metaverse, like, how is this better than a virtual online game? For example, how is it better than World of Warcraft, or anything like that in the virtual land? You know, like why is it?" And he even argues that those games are actually better in graphics, better in quality, better in experience. So could you please tell me a little bit? And I know that you guys are kind of elaborated on that before. What is the difference between Fortnite? What is the difference between like any other games like World of Warcraft and an actual metaverse? What are the components that actually differentiate that virtual world versus metaverse?
So once again, I'll go back on my opinion. I actually think they're one and the same at this current stage. They are video games. They are in video game basis. It's about connection at the end of the day. This is above the Web 2.0 days. This is not just simply reading a static web page. This is the 3D internet. It's immersive. It is allowing people and the users to come in and experience what's about to come. Think about it, and this was a great little definition I heard from someone else talking about Generation Alpha is what it's called. The people who were born in 2010 and beyond, they lived in these worlds. They literally were born into things like Roblox and Minecraft. So for them, it's normal to connect there, to be an avatar, to be somebody that you're not, and being able to do incredible things and making friendships along the way. But now, instead of me shooting and murdering a whole bunch of people, imagine now I could use the same technology and go and meet my doctor, or going to meet a lawyer, or going to, maybe a wedding or an event, which, before, right now, if you go into World of Warcraft, well, yeah, I'll meet some friends there, but guys, we better beat up a dragon or else I can't be your friend anymore because you've leveled up more than me and
Interesting.
we can't connect anymore. Right? Like
Right.
that's the sort of thing. And so I think where the metaverse is a bit different is we're going to get into real world experiences where we're not battling creatures or monsters. Sure, gaming will be there, but it'll be like, I'm going shopping and I just saw that great thing on virtual Amazon. I could put it on my virtual avatar, see what it looks like. And later on, when we get to augmented reality, literally the clothing can come and be on my body and I can
Hmm.
see it. And I didn't have to buy it yet to test it out. And literally, when I click a button, the exact measurements start
Hmm.
coming in. And so I think it's more about customization of our future, is where I see the metaverse, where we're now going to be customizing our entire lifetime going forward. And that is the key here with Web3. No more can a company have my data. Now I get to choose my data. It's about centralized versus decentralized. I'm going to have a wallet with my data where I can now kind of walk away. Whereas right now, companies own my data. So,
Right. So your
yeah.
logins belong to different company. Every company has an account created for you, and they own that information. Everything you do on their platforms, they basically record that data, and it's their data to
And
sell.
they're
Let's just
making
say.
money off of us. And this the key here is we are the product. I want to have the right to, number one, choose whether you're going to show me ads, and number two, if I'm going to look at an ad or several ads, pay me some of that money too, whether it goes into my crypto wallet or you're paying me via fiat. Fiat is the fancy name for, non-cryptocurrency. That's like US dollar, Canadian dollar, and so on. But the point is, you're making money off of me, my data. I should have a right to some of that money as well. And so in the future metaverse galaxies, we're going to see people having that as a job, like literally just go into galaxies, look at ads, and you're making money. Maybe you're making your monthly rent because you're having fun, enjoying things. Maybe you're learning new skills. So that's a great opportunity there. And there's going to be so many jobs opening up in the metaverse in the future that many countries are already seeing this. They're already preparing for this. Many companies are already preparing for this. I was at Elevate just last week or the week
Oh
before,
yeah, how was
and
that?
it was beautiful. And we saw this, like we've got banks, physical banks like Bank of Montreal, and they're getting into gaming. They know how big this is. I mean, why would a bank have a full section dedicated to gaming, and not just like any form of gaming? Like here, I've got a little video game. An actual Twitch personality who's from BMO, Bank of Montreal.
Mhm.
And I was like, they are seeing this. This is real. This is coming, and they're preparing for the 2 billion plus clients coming in the future.
So piggybacking on that, we're talking about jobs, we're talking about some trade within Metaverse. So I think one of those things that differentiate Metaverse is obviously having that inside economy that's happening there, versus like any other sort of virtual reality things. And that virtual economy is backed, it is my understanding, it's backed by cryptographically, or basically by encrypted contracts, right? By smart contracts where when you're purchasing something, it belongs to you because it belongs to your wallet, let's say, to your, like, let's say ENS name, right? So if you buy a hat or a cool skin or something like that, that is customized, it actually, on the public chain contractually says this item belongs to this wallet and it can be purchased or like resold from this wallet to another wallet, and that's why it cannot be replicated. And it is my understanding that everything is going to be built upon that it's not something like Control V and Control C, Control C, Control V. And hence, like, your wedding planner coworker or colleague made $40,000 on Second Life. Can you talk a little bit more about those 40K and how did they do that?
Right. So Linden Labs, I believe, is the company that made Second Life, and they created something called the Linden Dollar, which is another financial thing which can convert right to US dollars. And so
It's
they
like
were able
a
in
token
Second Life.
within.
Yeah,
Yeah,
within
yeah.
Second Life itself,
Hmm.
right? So it was the Linden Dollar, I believe it was called. So it literally had a US dollar component. You could actually convert right over to US dollars. Now that was in Web 2. From Charmy's perspective, we're Web 2 to Web 3. So we're taking you in both worlds, because that's the challenge here. Is a lot of people think that you can only do it in blockchain, or you can only do it without blockchain, and metaverse exists in both. We're in both worlds. The way it worked was for Linden Labs, I believe, I don't know how they did it exactly, but I know that they had their own dollar system, which was convertible. And right now, we're seeing a lot of these tokens, which are trying to do the same thing. But because it's such a gray area and the laws around it are a challenge,
Hmm.
it's still yet to be seen how it's going to be used. And so people are coming up with their own utility tokens and their own tokens to use inside of these metaverse experiences.
Right.
My personal opinion, if you're going to invest in a metaverse, number one, check and see if that metaverse is real and that it exists. The reason why I got into this business, I used to work at Unity 3D, which is the actual technology building many of these things. And I saw too many people get scammed with these exact same metaverse experiences and calls, which it was not an experience. It was a beautiful video, beautiful pitch deck. Buy my land, and one day you're going to make incredible money. It was a cash grab scam sort of thing. And my hope is that when we're creating real technology, you're focused on first educating yourself. Go into that metaverse galaxy, see what's going on. Is it real? Can I actually walk into these plots of land that I'm about to buy? Number two, is the money an actual thing? And so you see many of these what they call scam tokens, where the whole point was to run this up to a certain level, and then boom, the founders or whoever would take all the money out, and now you're left with this token and a useless galaxy that nobody goes into. And so I want you to be realistic about things. So I don't fully disagree with the person who said that, World of Warcraft and others are so much better. In fact, they are. If you go down to Decentraland and you check out some of the stats, they don't even have the level of users that World of Warcraft does.
And
Yeah,
Decentraland is another metaverse where you
it
can
that's right.
buy land and stuff like that as well, and make
It's the
some
one that most
transactions
people
with it.
will know about. Exactly.
Yeah.
Decentraland and Sandbox, because you heard about the person who bought for millions of dollars a piece of land. But when you look at the user data, it's nowhere near what you've got with World of Warcraft and Second Life, who've got so many others, Roblox as well. Millions of users over there, whereas these new Web3 sort of enabled experiences have nowhere near the amount of users. And so this is the challenge now that we're facing in the metaverse field is like, yes, I get it. Web3, all that stuff, even up to a certain level, it's still, centralized, because if decentralized servers go down, what do you own? At the end
Hmm.
of the day, they could still go down. And so the vision is there. The vision of what we want it to be is there. Eventually, you'll get there. But I still think we're about 10, 15 years out of what that is supposed to be. And we got to start here and now with what we do know. We know about websites, we know about video games, we know about the current technology. Let's build on top of that to get to that technology that we are envisioning of a fully decentralized space one day.
So let's talk about your technology.
Sure.
Charmy .com. First of all, this is your child basically. This is your creation. Where does the name comes from?
Yeah, so Charmy, it's a Chaarmi. We wanted to keep it simple so that, everyone who was coming into the metaverse space, it was metaverse this, metaverse that, metaverse. And we were just like, we're sitting down. And I was sitting down. In fact, I came up with the name because I was thinking about the beginnings of the internet. Back in the day, and you look at the biggest companies in general. Facebook, Google, right? Twitter, right? It was like two-syllable words, and I was like, well, all of the other words that I had coming out were metaverse this and metaverse that, or metaverse engine or whatever. And then I'm just like, they're too long, too confusing, and they don't even sound good. And then I just sat down and like, why don't we just do Charmy? It sounds like a charming name.
Exactly.
And it was a two-syllable word, and I ended up getting the domain. And I was like, you know what? Let's just roll with it. And it started to stick, and boom, there we are now. It's very simple now, and I'm hoping in the future as it starts to grow, and we're already hearing it. People just start saying, "Meet me in Charmy. Come meet me in
Yeah.
my Charmy world."
I
So
love the name. It sounds great. It's very colloquial and it's very positive. I feel like it puts a smile on your face when you say that.
that's right.
It brings positive emotions. All right, so you created your own metaverse, and I've browsed around. I saw some videos, and it looks like it's a virtual world, and you have your avatar, you have your little person that you can control and go to the different sections and teleport where there and there um, so let's just talk about it. Okay, so what does Charmy do?
So Charmy gives you the capability of creating your own metaverse galaxy experience with no programming knowledge. Today, if you're interested in the metaverse, you have to go learn a lot of programming or hire a development team. It's going to take you months, years to get to the level of what even trying to get to what Decentraland can do. But with Charmy, literally without programming, you could just click and drag up to 1,300 objects right now that we've got and build out this virtual world that will automatically work via a simple URL. It'll work in Google Chrome on PC, Mac, and Oculus Quest VR, and it works with multi users. Right now, up to 10 users at a time. You didn't have to worry about figuring out the programming on the multiplayer or how to do VR. It just works. And that's the key, is we made a platform system like WordPress. Today, if you want to make a website, for most people who don't know programming, you'll grab a WordPress type of system and you can click on add new page. Inside of Charmy, you can add a new plot. We've got unlimited plots, and you can jump from plot to plot and to galaxy within the Charmy ecosystem. So if you had a Charmy galaxy and I had a Charmy galaxy, well, guess what? I can have my users jump from my galaxy to yours very easily and back and forth again.
So just to clarify, that's fascinating, by the way. And when you say galaxy, is that like my space kind of thing? It's by the galaxy you mean like my world, and Charmy has like
Great
different worlds for
question.
everyone.
100%. So I'm going to now explain to you the way I've kind of designed it in my head. You guys know the word internet, right? Same thing
Mhm.
is the word metaverse, in my opinion. Then you've got websites on the internet. The same thing, you've got galaxies. within the metaverse. Then you've got web pages on the internet under your website. Then you've got plots of land inside of these galaxies. And
Mhm.
thus, we're going to have many different galaxies, whether it's a Charmy galaxy or Decentraland or Sandbox. But then within them are these plots of land that you can either create or buy or change the way you like and invite your friends and family and community out to.
Interesting. So are you saying that Charmy in itself is a galaxy and Decentraland is another galaxy, and that's how you see it? Or are you saying that there are several galaxies within Charmy?
Oh, Charmy is an actual tool to generate galaxies. Literally
Hmm.
using Charmy, you can make a Decentraland or you can make a Sandbox or a Roblox in the future. That's what Charmy's strength is we're giving the power to you to create your own full galaxy system with unlimited plots if you
And
like.
what's the difference between galaxies within Charmy? Like, how do you differentiate them? Like, why do we need to create more of them? Why don't just have one galaxy like we have in real life?
Great question.
I mean, we
Because
have a lot of galaxies in real life, but like we live in one. Yeah, yeah.
community, and it comes out to community. So here's what I mean. In Decentraland, it's a very open type of metaverse galaxy. But if I create a plot of land and I'm in, let's say, a LinkedIn plot I created, for professionals, and my next door neighbor is Snoop Dogg, and on the other side is a whole bunch of children. Do I necessarily want those communities coming into my community? Maybe not. Whereas if I build my own galaxy inside of Charmy, maybe I've created a professional galaxy. I'm maybe a lawyer.
Mm,
Now, guess what?
hmm.
Another galaxy that I'm working with, they're real estate agents. Okay. And then another one is, interior designers. Well, now those three galaxies can be interconnected. And when my users jump, they're jumping to another related type of
Yeah.
galaxy. And, this is how it all kind of merges, where now everything makes more sense as you're building up these communities versus I just got a plot of land. I hope it works, and I hope somebody really foolish buys my land for millions, and I'll be rich.
That's cool. I love that. I love that idea that you have the galaxies based on interests and professions and just communities. It's very fascinating, especially like I like how you said. I've actually never heard about alpha generation. I mean, it makes sense that the new generation will have some sort of a new like alphabetic name or whatever. But yeah, apparently like the kids who are in 2010s, they were born, they're alphas, which is good for them. But you're right; it's they will be living in that world, and for them, it's going to be a second nature to just be within the avatar, be within like a little imaginary digital
And I'll
character.
give you a perfect example. I mean, when the internet first started, people didn't have a necessity to type. They didn't even
Hmm.
know how to type and use the mouse. It was a learning curve. People had to learn how to use a computer, how to type, and all that. My own mother, she didn't even get onto Facebook until like much later. Now
Yeah.
that's all she does, right? But the point is, at the end of the day, it is a very steep learning curve. It's going to take time to educate the older generations how to play a video game, like
Hmm.
WASD to move around. You need a mouse, space to jump. And so this is the sort of stuff. There's going to be metaverse education classes, metaverse systems. So there's a lot of opportunity with what's coming and a lot of jobs that are going to be created because of the metaverse. And it's already stated, I believe it was, I forget the specific quote, but it was stated that this is going to be a $13 trillion or higher industry that's going to be coming,
Yeah.
and
I
that
mean,
is huge.
yeah, it is huge. And now, how long have you been working on Charmy? Like, how long has it been around?
Great question. We actually started this year. I started in 2022 after I was working at Unity before, and it became my mission to create real technology and not see people lose their money, their hard-earned money, to these scams of there's no way that this graphics could ever be done. I mean, PlayStation level graphics and World of Warcraft, which is the pinnacle of multi-user, and
Mhm.
you're telling me that you're going to have that graphic level within a year with that many users? You're out of your mind. I could
Yeah, I
see
was
that.
always thinking
Yeah.
like all the metaverses, they have Sims 3 graphics, It's all
Yeah.
kind of like angly and all of that and I sort of like I'm trying to understand why, but I feel like it's just a matter of like getting on top of that technology of metaverse and cryptography rather than having like vanity work. So I think like I don't know. I feel like it's not being metaverses are not being judged based on how it looks right now in terms of graphics and realism,
That's
but
right.
like more on the function. Would that be correct?
I would say it's a mix between the two worlds. And
Mm.
so when I was at Unity, I saw two different variants of this. I saw graphics that is so great that it's impossible. I'm like, really? Where is this? Right? And then you'd see the other ones who got like the free Git application, something that they found
Yeah.
on GitHub, and it looks like it was made in the 80s. And sitting at Unity is a great overall type of system, and the other engine is Unreal Engine. Um,
I love it.
you can make something that's balanced between
But
the
like
two
we have to
worlds.
remember, it's a browser version. It's all in browser, so like there's
That's right.
no
And the
processor
browser has
behind it.
limits.
Yeah.
That's right. Browser has limits. We can do about 2 GB. So the key here is that, we have to come up with new ways. And so we're trying to balance the number of users to the level of graphics. And some people have actually got streaming graphics, which gives us a higher quality. You'll see that with Unreal. Now we want to get to functionality. When you start seeing more of these experiences, coming in from things like Charmy and Decentraland and so on, what is the metaverse going to be used for? Why do you need the metaverse? And these are the questions that we want you to answer, because it's going to be, all of us to come up with that answer. And at
Hmm.
Charmy, we want to give you the tools to make it easy so you can test that out without losing your bank account, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So, tell me about your team. Like, who's working on this project, and how are you financing it?
Good question. Now it's actually self-financed. It's me right now at the moment.
Oh, wow,
We
you're
had a
putting,
bigger,
skin in the game,
yeah,
100%.
all my skin in the game, absolutely.
Yeah.
For years, if anyone had any problems or challenges with Unity, they would go to Unity's website, type in help, and they come to Unity Live Help, and they come to me and my team. And for many years, I've had so many solutions that you just can't even find online. I said, well, why not me? Why don't I do something about it? And that's how that started. At one point, though, I had a bigger team. I had a lot more people. But the trouble is, people can't do it. And so we got into really challenging situations where teams were being poached, members were being poached, taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Patents were, kind of in a patent fight. I have a patent pending status, for this technology. So it's great, but people trying to steal the patent, people trying to do different things
Wow. Okay.
because, yeah, it became very kind of really challenging, and the tech wasn't being made. And so finally, I kind of had to put my foot down. And just when I thought, okay, you know what, I've got a small team left, let's now go and do this, the whole market crashes.
Right.
And now pretty much I've been left to kind of hold the fort down and push it forward. So I've been coding everything. I'm out there marketing. I'm here on podcasts. I am
You
right
are.
now holding all of the fort down myself. And at the same time, as we're getting funding, my hope is that you guys will come in, you'll support a startup like myself, and purchase a Charmy Galaxy. It's cost effective, and we hope to get the customers out. So we build real technology rather than everyone come on in, you got a lot of money, and hopefully it'll work.
Yeah.
But we don't want to scam people. We want to now go the route of getting customers in and building real tech.
And I guess it's great that you're, besides being a fantastic speaker, you're also a computer programmer, and I've read that you know various coding languages and
Thank you.
programming languages. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You can do several things at once, and that's
Thank you.
talking about lean startup, right? You don't have to
Yeah.
like hire more people if you can like kind of like push it on your own for some time. Have you ever thought about public like crowdfunding? I know that my previous guest actually they crowdfunded through like Front Funder, like opening your company for like the public to share and stuff like that.
Right.
Have you
You know,
thought about
this
that?
is great. And you bring up a great point. First and foremost, on the first part of it, what Steve Jobs said: you can't connect the dots going forward; you can only connect them backward. I grew up at the age of 10. I started coding. Later on, I ended up getting my real estate license, saying I make video games. Like, what am I ever going to use real estate for? And then I got my bodybuilding license in health. And then all of these different things started coming into
Wow.
place. I started learning Mandarin, and I'm like, why do I speak Mandarin as well? Right. And yet I would have never gotten into the metaverse if I never spoke Mandarin and English together, which put inside of the person who's the supplier in China that, hey, this person's into metaverse. He's buying 3D glasses. There's another person. That actually started the metaverse connection for me.
That's
And
crazy.
then when it comes back to the real estate, what am I going to use real estate for? Everything in the metaverse is real estate. And I also learned sales. And I'm like, why am I learning sales for? What am I ever going to need this? I'm a computer programmer guy. And here I am now. It's all come together in the metaverse.
So,
And so, yeah,
so it's like Scott Adams said, like it's very important and beneficial and gives you the edge to actually not just have one talent to focus on, but have stacks of talents. And you have
that's
stacks of
right.
skills. Your skills are like, I'm very surprised. Bodybuilding, Mandarin, sales, real estate, and coding on top of everything.
That's right.
And plus you're really good at presenting and speaking.
Thank
And
you.
and look at your style as well. Look at that,
Thank you. Well, they call me Mr. Metaverse because I'm always in suit and tie. So that's how you
There you
remember
go.
me.
There you go. No, I love it. I love it. Nav, what's up with that pricing you started talking about? Can you like elaborate maybe like for like a minute or so? Like how did you come up with pricing and what does the pricing like gives you if people would like to purchase I guess a
Sure.
spotted metaverse?
Absolutely. So the pricing, it took a long time before we were charging 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 because it was more and more complex. I mean, I would have to spend actual weeks to create some of these experiences. But as I started building more and more of the technology myself and getting it to a point where it is today, and I got a little bit of help from one dev, but unfortunately I had to put him on pause because of the whole market crashing. I said, brother, you got to find a job. Unfortunately, I
Right.
can't even afford you. I've literally built, I would say, a good 95% or higher of the entire system that you see as Charmy today. And now it's at a point where we can make these things fast. It's the exact same product. The difference here is for $99, you could put it on your server. If you have a powerful enough server, you could do that yourself and you own the entire thing. All we have is a switch to turn it on and off if you don't pay. It's
Okay, so
a
let's say
metaverse
okay.
as a service, is
All
what it
right, so
is.
interesting. I love that. Metaverse is a service.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm a bank and I would like to like create for like marketing purposes and also for some user customer
Yeah.
experience, I would like to create a metaverse. Do I just go to you and I purchase a business license at Charmy and I create basically my own space at your Galaxy? And that would
Exactly.
be
And
my
not
rent?
just that, you can even see. Oh, sorry, I think you froze there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I get. Yeah.
Testing, testing. One, two, three. Can you hear
Yep.
me now? Okay,
Yep.
perfect, perfect. Yeah, not just that. In fact, you come into Charmy, you get it all set up, but we've got a community of people who are creating plots. In Charmy, you could copy paste plots. So if someone is, kind enough to share,
Hmm.
literally, you could save so much time. You could say, "Oh, there's something that looks like a bank already. I could just copy paste that into my Charmy Galaxy, and a full plot appears instantaneously. And now I can
Hmm.
adjust the objects inside of there and add my own. It's
Oof.
really powerful.
That whole copy pasting, man, I don't know
Yeah.
about it, man. We just talked about, non fungible stuff and all of a sudden copy pasting. I hope that's not
Yeah.
going to be abused. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. So the whole point of Charmy is to save you time. The point is here, we don't know what's going to happen with the metaverse. And yes, over time, we're going to have non-fungible items. We're going to have custom objects which you can purchase, and you will not be able to copy paste. So even if you copy pasted a plot, unless they
Right.
gave you that specific object, well, everything else would come in, but that specific object would not.
Understood. Um, Now we only have 5 minutes left. I wanted to ask you, with you being like a one-man team right now, isn't that like a little bit too stressful? Like, are you sometimes like burned out, for example? Are you experiencing this like loneliness? Is it lonely to be like doing it all by yourself? How do you cope with that as an entrepreneur? And what kind of techniques or like psychological or maybe or any sort of mental gymnastics you're doing to just keep yourself motivated?
Yeah. First one is faith. You got to have faith in something bigger than yourself. For me, I see it as a mission. Like, I will die or do this. That's the way I see it. And if you don't get to that level, there's, in my opinion, no way that you could do this. And I know that there's something guiding you. Hard work. Okay. Hard work is another one, right? You got to work hard every single day. This is where the bodybuilding stuff comes in, right? Every single day. It's my cornerstone habit. I'm working out, and that keeps me going. And with workouts, if you've ever done any form of bodybuilding, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you just do for like 30 days and you get ripped. This is a lifestyle. This is my life.
Right.
This is who I am. I gotta go to the gym at least 3 to 5 times a week. I gotta be at the gym. Whether I'm happy or sad, whether I have a good day or a bad day, I'm hitting the gym. I don't care if I don't want to. My muscles are screaming, I don't want to go. My body's screaming, I don't want to go. But that's the mindset. It's a psychological game. If I can crush it in the gym, I'm going to crush it in life. And there's times where I say, I don't want to go out there. I don't want to go out to that meeting. I don't want to do that meetup. I don't want to go there. But then it's because I went to the gym with that cornerstone habit that I'm blessed to have. Boom, I show up. I show up, and that's half the battle. And when I'm there, guess what? I made a connection. I met this person. I met that person. They start talking about Charmy. Oh my goodness, it worked. And that's the key. And it comes back to my third point, which is never give up. Right? It's gonna take people who never give up. You got to be relentless in this. Never giving up. That's the only way you're gonna succeed. And it comes back to the difference between the failure and the successful is that they had everything the exact same happen to them all the way up to that one pivotal moment where the successful person decided to stand up when they fell. That was it. Everything else could be the exact same with that one point. And that's the key, is never give up at
That's
the very end.
fantastic. Thank you so much. Nav Gupta, everybody. Nav, really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for talking about your company. And I'm hoping inspiring my viewers and listeners. I'm definitely inspired myself, especially with your definition of discipline and not giving up and just believing and having faith. I think it's very important to have faith as well. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you very much, sir. And I hope I'll see you soon in real life as well, and maybe in Metaverse, hopefully,
Absolutely.
probably, inevitably.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. And yeah, please check out charmy.com. Support a startup here today. Every one of you, I'm so grateful for you. And you guys are entering the metaverse as pioneers. The first people who figure this out in your industry, you'll be the leader in your industry. So check it out, CHAARMI.com. Get yourself a Galaxy today. We're so grateful for your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everybody. This has been an Azizi podcast. And don't forget to, of course, subscribe to our podcast as well. Thank you.